Against this right back, Charlie, definitely.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, bro. Come on.
There's always just that active when defenders have been given, like. There's always just that active when defenders have been given, like. There's always just that active when defenders have been given, like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, bro. Come on. Thank you very much for that, Ian Wright. It's a glorious Monday. People deluded, I'm back again. If you're on YouTube, smash the like button. If you're on Twitch, make sure you're following with Amazon Prime. Make sure you're cross-following, you're commenting, you're liking, you're subscribing. And as usual, appreciative to you lot tuned in. And an extra big up to some of you, because you would have seen me and Alex. Obviously, we spoke Arsenal, Liverpool, and a lot of wider talking points not too long ago, people. You would have seen it on Twitch and YouTube. So if you haven't, that's something for your viewing after. Any opinions, player ratings, comments in relation to Arsenal, Liverpool, opinions, questions, all of that stuff, get them in, people. We're going to go over the press conference, see what our players have also had to say in relation to the game. And yeah, people, I guess I'll offer my thoughts, but I've exhausted them. You see the post-game reviews, you saw the live stream with Alex. Like, my thoughts are out there. You know, we've got the whole of the football world in strings, on strings, really and truly. Jamie Carragher's frothing at the mouth. Hopefully he doesn't spit at little kids. Gary Neville's out here talking nonsense. And the celebration police have issued a warrant for Mikel Arteta's arrest. It's all fun and games when Jose, Clark, Conte, Pep, all of them do the antics. And I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. What is it like? I'm sorry, but football at its purest level, it's about emotions. It's about the highs. It's about the lows. If we, you know, well, actually, when Arteta came in, we still had that kind of connotations around the club about lacking passion. It doesn't mean anything. Now we're in trouble for celebrating, especially a big team like Liverpool, a big game like Liverpool, where you have to earn the right to defeat Jurgen Klopp's men. You know, in many ways, they're unlucky that they're City, because City are the benchmark. In many ways, Klopp's men, Liverpool in the last few years have been the benchmark of what teams aspire to do. And they're the one team that's been able to pick Pep Guardiola to a Premier League title. So when you equip yourself like that, when you know it's a big week where you've got 2 games in a week against Nottingham Forest away from home and Liverpool, and we've got 6 points, obviously 9 points this calendar year, ticking in the right direction. And it's a massive month in February. February to March is mad for Arsenal. Forgive me, but we've got West Ham, we've got Chelsea, we've got the Porto games to come. It sounds cliche, but every game is extremely difficult in the Premier League and in general. And it's these moments, the highs and lows with the players. You got to remember, you know, much like every work in life, I know football's a bit different. These players spend more time with each other than their kids and wives. They're going through the highs and lows. They're going through when people say they don't care and they're working on the training ground and things like that. They deserve to celebrate. Same way you deserve slaps if you lose. Big up, Graham. And let me take off the glasses. Afternoon, DG. I think we need to be smart in the summer. 2 big signings to cover the starting 11. Then start to sell the fringe players and strengthen the squad so we can cope with injuries. I'm happy I'm not Edu or Mikel Arteta, because you need to get next summer spot on. I did think the last summer signings we brought in, they were good. Timber when fit, he gives us something. Declan Rice is quality. Raya, I feel personally, the last few games, Raya, in a nice way, is going under the radar. The talking points with him and Ramsdale are kind of redundant. And I did think, to a degree, the depth was there. But as you can see, it's very volatile. We need to increase the depth. If players are not coming into this club in the same vein of when Jesus, Zinchenko, Declan Rice, even Odegaard, advancing us, if they're not coming in to do that, make sure we don't drop off a certain level. Clearly, we need players that move the needle and things. And I think I speak for every Arsenal fan. A striker will be one. And I can probably anticipate we'll have a lot of content on my platforms around striker links and things like that. We'd all like another winger. I'm not being funny. Mikel Arteta, Pedro Neto, shown he could play on the left, play on the right. I'm sure even for Wolves, this last weekend. He's played as a false nine. He fits into the system. I think we need to address midfield. I think anything from one or all three of Partey, Jorginho, and Elneny could depart. But I do think one of them will stay. Again, Jorginho is at the end of his career. If he gets an offer from Saudi, it can return to Brazil or something with Italy or play a more prominent role in what's left of his career. He might say and do that. But I think, Jorginho might be the one to stay. He's not on the biggest of wages in comparison to Partey. Unlike Elneny, respectfully to Elneny, there's games for Jorginho, and he's almost Mikel Arteta's coach and eyes and ears and all of that stuff. So I think, again, if you bring me another 6 and an 8, you've got Declan Rice, Jorginho's in and about the squad. I'm all for that. I think Partey will be moved on. Obviously, injuries are one thing. He's on big wages on the wrong side of 30. He's not going to bring in a mad transfer fee because clearly we flirted with selling him last summer and there weren't too many offers, but we've got to deal with that. Obviously, the Lokongas, who's put in a couple of good games recently for Luton. I don't know if he's going to be able to bag a space in the void that's left with some departing midfielders, or we're playing him into the shop window. Obviously, you've got to deal with Tavares and Kieran Tierney. Aaron Ramsdale is somebody. I don't know if Eddie Nketiah and Reece Nelson are going to be forced out the door, but in terms of recouping, there's something to be said there. And there's probably one or two other players. But you're right, we need to be smart and make some smart additions. And how do I make this make sense? Obviously, I'm a hypocrite and there's exceptions to the rule, but I don't really want expensive experiments. Big up Kai Havertz for yesterday and in general, but if we're going to be spending 65 million, I kind of want a player to have a certain grounding and foundation before they even sign for the football club, because we don't know Kai Havertz's best position. He's looked terrible as a false nine at times. He's looked quite great, like against Liverpool as a false nine. He's had great games, but great's an exaggeration, but he's had decent games in midfield. He's also had games where the game's kind of left him, and Havertz can play everywhere. What is he? And if we can't decide what he's going to be, we just accept the L for what it is, the 65 million and all of this. Just utilize him as a squad player and find players who move the needle. Because, if you could get a younger Jorginho, look at how comfy Declan Rice looks. Partey's a quality player. The man's never fit, so it's a bit redundant, man. Zubiamendi and the player from Antwerp. We're going to miss out on the Antwerp guy, Vermeeren, because he's gone to Atletico, but he would be lit. And Zubiamendi, you lot know I'm a big fan of his. Big up yourself as well, Mr. Maxwell, because you was here in the last stream. Would you move Zinchenko into midfield next season and use him as an option, bringing in another left back? I think there's got to be a reason why Zinchenko doesn't organically play in midfield, but I guess there's scope to do it. I think left back, if we need something in midfield, fair enough, really and truly. We're playing West Ham next week. Fair enough. I thought it was this Sunday, really. I could be wrong. I thought it was this Sunday we're playing West Ham, but so I'm not lying to you. Let's see when the fixtures are at. Okay, just show me Arsenal's fixtures. The 11th, when is that? Yeah, on Sunday we're playing West Ham. I think you're a bit confused there, Temi, but we've got let's just go with February 1st. We've got West Ham away, then we've got Burnley away. So the Emirates Stadium is not seeing us for a minute. We've got Burnley and West Ham starting on Sunday with West Ham. Then we travel to Portugal on the 21st of February to play against Porto. We end the month with Newcastle at home. So these are big games. I don't want to look towards March, but March starts with Sheffield United away, which them man are fighting for their lives. We are getting to that kind of territory now where the teams that are fighting relegation, there's going to, hopefully not us, but there's going to be a couple of shock results. Then we've got Brentford at home where Ivan Toney audition settings. Then we, play the second leg on the 12th of March against Porto. Boy, you know what? From now till February, it's kind of... I hope we're not playing on my birthday. Arsenal play Villa on the 13th of April. Put that in your diaries. Hopefully that changes. I don't want to play on my birthday, but April's a bit mad. From now till April, it's a bit mad, people. March, as I said, the 16th of March, you've got Chelsea. Fair enough, Chelsea are a bit of a mess, but it's still a big game. Then you've got City away from home, where the only thing better than beating Manchester City at the Emirates would be beating them at the Etihad. Then we've got Luton, where, Luton, if we don't know what they're going to be saying in March, but right now, that's a very difficult game, people. Then we've got Brighton away on the 6th of April. Then Villa at home on the 13th. Then you've got Wolves on the 20th of April. Then you've got, Wolves away, 27th of April sees the North London derby play, and that's the end of April. And then obviously there's no need to get into May and all of those things. But it's a lot of football to be played, a lot of football to be played, a lot of things. And we just need to put a run of form. We're going to drop points much like everybody else. We need to keep going. To get the best out of Kai and Jesus, I would like a 4-4-1-1, Rice and Odegaard in the middle. Too much experimenting for me at this moment in time, man. Maybe he's confused with the claret and blue between Burnley and West Ham. I think it's this Sunday. Would love to know how much new revenue has come in from the commercial deals we've been tuning out would be huge going forward if we need an additional signing or two. Richard, I don't know, but it seems like every week we're bringing out new merchandise and we're announcing new commercial sponsorships. So in theory, you know, I know it doesn't mean just because we're getting commercial money that is being transferred directly into the transfer kitty, but the more money we get, the more success on the pitch, the better we get with selling players and actually buying and managing the budget, the healthier we start to look and we move forward as a club. So hopefully with us getting Champions League football, with us tying key players down to new contracts, which I do think people forget, that factors into FFP and the budget, assuming these variables fall into place, hopefully in the summer we do what we need to do. Obviously, there's a question to be had about Arsenal. We're not known necessarily of, well, not early Emirates days, yeah, but we haven't, of recent years, we haven't got the best of, what's the word I'm looking for? Reputations for being a great selling club. So what we're able to bring into the club helps us as well. But you'd imagine there'll be a decent transfer kitty. There's going to have to be, you know, to live this life, it gets expensive. If you want Ivan Toney, obviously Brentford's position is going to be weakened in the summer because his contract is tipping down. But you're looking at anything as conservative to 50, 60, maybe as high as to 80, even 100 million. 100, I don't quite agree, but you get the point. Osimhen, you know he's got a release clause of 100 odd. You'd imagine, depending on the sort of winger you go for, but you're looking, if it's a relative household name kind of guy, you're probably spending over 50 odd, 60 odd million quid if you want the Netos and people like that. So that's 150 odd million on two positions. Central mid, if you can get a cheap one, fair enough. Zubiamendi's got a release clause of 60 million euros, so that's about 50 odd million quid. So now you've probably spent 200 million on two positions. Probably need to bring in another number two keeper. On the topic of keepers, you know we're giving 27 million to Brentford, so we've already committed 27 million to whatever budget we've got in the summer. And you know, this is assuming Mikel Arteta don't want any other positions or doesn't have any ideas, because I do think many people, including myself, expected a goalie to come in the summer. And it all depends. Like, if you do sell Eddie Nketiah, what fee are you going to get for him? Reece Nelson if he leaves, Smith Rowe if he leaves, Aaron Ramsdale if he leaves. Obviously, the wage bill will be cut if and when Partey departs. Jorginho obviously will free up not as much resources, but some. El Nene the same. Cedric as well the same. His deal's running down. So it all depends, really and truly. You lot have been great with your talking points. Keep them flowing and keep them coming. Can we please make sure YouTube ones were smashing the like button? Odegaard looks better when he can run as a 10 rather than staying as a single side of the field. I mean, when you've got Jorginho and Rice, you know, Jorginho is conducting, Rice is doing a bit of everything. Odegaard can kind of just do the Odegaard thing, lead the press, drop deep when you need to. You know, Havertz is kind of out of the equation. I do think it's a bit dumb, but I prefer Havertz in the 8 than as a false 9 generally. But I do think he kind of disrupts things, and I do think players have to drop a lot deeper, if I'm honest with you. Big up DG, you're the energy god. I could never be a god, but I appreciate that. Smash the likes, as Oliver said. I think the 4-2-3-1 looks better than a 4-3-3 we've been playing. Rice and Jorginho as a double pivot is just cleaner than Rice alone with two centre mids that are offset. To be fair, we need to be able to do everything, bro. We need a lone 6 and 2 rotating 8s. We need 2 6s and a 10. There might be times where we might need a flat midfield 3, really. Variety is the spice of life. Life would be very boring if, you know, we had the same meal for 365 days. Don't get it twisted. We've all got favorite meals, and what you see Mikel Arteta typically deploying with certain individuals is that, but you've got to be able to twist and turn and tweak and all of these sort of things. And, you know, in August, when the whole we've been dealing with injuries since August, but when the whole squad is relatively fit, every player that isn't starting, your days are numbered. In the months that have followed on, and definitely in this new year, you've seen the value in having the squad. And one thing I've liked with Mikel Arteta in these last 3 games that we've got positive results from, I like his managing of Trossard and Martinelli. Martinelli, you come off the bench, you recharge, come off the bench against Crystal Palace. You know, Trossard didn't necessarily deserve to be dropped against Nottingham Forest, but I think he had, you know, when we came to closing out games, Trossard was the one guy in that game I thought, you know what, I've got confidence with you with the ball. Obviously, Martinelli, Trossard and Saka, no Jesus, no problem. Not that he's known for scoring. They did what they needed to do. We need a squad. You know, Kai Havertz went up front, of course. We need to be able to do these little things if we want to be a team that gets all the way in the FA Cup, the League Cup, the Champions League, the Prem, etc., etc. Great victory yesterday. Have all the right to celebrate. I just hope Arsenal fans learn from the past that you are literally I think you mean handed the league to our City. Big up Manchester City. And I don't think Arsenal in the title race. I don't think we can win the Premier League. I just don't. But You know, if all we can do is it's out of Arsenal's hands. Liverpool. I don't look at the league table, but Liverpool are top. City have earned that right there. The big dogs, you know, they're lurking. They're the sharks that are lurking. It's them lot. If a miracle can happen and we can take advantage and be in the conversation in May and do it, then fair enough. But I don't feel we have enough really and truly to compete with the big boys yet. But yeah, man, doing some great content. Love the last stream. Appreciate Daniel. Do you think Arsenal as a team are matured and street smart enough to break a low block down consistently? Yeah, because I think we've done it. Like, I think the issue around us with low blocks has literally been putting the ball in the back of the net. And if we can't, Arteta and the players, this comes with the territory. You know, I do think football's kind of changed. And you see teams low block, not giving much space. The other team can't break them down. They might get one chance, score and smash and grab. But I think 9 times out of 10 now, whether your team has the tools at their disposal, obviously you have to be street smart. If you know a team's got stronger attacks, stronger attackers, you need to mitigate against that. But I feel you normally see upsets when people go toe to toe nowadays, really and truly. So I do think I don't think generally we're as mature and as street smart as I would like to talk about winning Premier League titles, Oliver. But in terms of breaking down low blocks, I think I'm not going to say it's not a weakness of ours, but we've shown we've done it. And listen, it's going to happen. If you know you've got you're playing against Saka, Jesus, etc. Generally, some teams won't. But generally, why would you give these guys space? All you need to do is look at last season. And typically, there's finishes Saka and Martinelli had. They're running into space, and Saka's able to shift it on his left foot. You're in trouble. Martinelli running in behind the Henry-esque finish. You're in trouble. Naturally, teams are not going to want to do that. So yeah, man. Arteta don't trust players enough. That's why we get punished in some games. Define that a bit. Define that a bit for me. What you mean, man? But yeah, man, hopefully we could do a thing, really and truly. We need to just keep going, man. DG, you know it's love, bro. But you're looking like a young Martin Lawrence with them glasses. I hear it. Any galley that like young Martin Lawrence. Yeah, is what it is. We need a better quality of squad so that we can challenge on all 4 fronts. Want Arsenal to be at a level where we even take the League Cup seriously and can rotate in the FA Cup. Amen. But like, I'm starting to feel like, obviously, if you sign someone better than Benjamin White, someone better than Timber, for example, or someone better than Jesus or Saka, naturally, these guys become the squad players. Like, Foden is a squad player at City. Bernardo Silva was obviously a couple of times. I'm not dissing them because it's a squad. When your form's out of this world, you play. As I said, if we can't bring in players that raise the levels, make sure it don't drop off a level. And if you sign better than what we've got, naturally, it looks all right. Like, I don't like to be that guy, and you know, people are never always fit. But when everybody's fit, I hate the ifs and whens and all these things. We've actually got a strong bench. How many times can you say that at Arsenal? Like, really and truly, everybody who's fit right now to be on the bench, how many players do you look at and say, right, you could change something? I'm always going to believe in Smith Rowe. I think I wouldn't say I necessarily wholeheartedly believing in Nketiah, but not to the same level of Trossard. But you're there. Trossard's number 1. Kyrgios's likely to come off the bench. Nelson, when things are going wrong or we need something, you're there. Fabio Vieira fit, there's that. But there's not too much to scream and shout about on Arsenal's bench, people. Arteta don't trust players enough. That's basically players on the bench. Well, then he's going to have to find players he trusts, really and truly, if you're not going to utilize them, if I'm completely honest, man, really. When's your next collaboration with Curtis Shaw? Always fire when you two do your thing. I've asked Curtis a lot of times, my friend, you know, big up Curtis. I'm probably never if you don't reply it, really and truly. But yeah, anyways, DG looking like Fabrizio Romano in the shirts. I thought, let me dress and act the part, people. Arsenal unbeaten against the big 6 in the Premier League this season, which I like our approaches in big games. And I think maybe, I don't know, maybe my standards are too high. But I think it could have been better. I think, you know, we beat Man United. That game could have went either way. I don't care how you do it. You beat Liverpool and City. I'll give you the grace of that. 2 biggest of results of the season without necessarily our strongest team. We can maneuver with that. Spurs, we shot ourselves in the foot. We dropped points from winning positions. Chelsea, it took an hour for us to turn up. Now, things happen, but imagine how things would look if we maximize stuff. Let's see what Declan Rice and Arteta and a couple of the players have said about the Liverpool game, people. Declan Rice has said on Arteta, he's our manager. He lives on the pitch with us. He lives every single ball of us. When you have that and you see what he transmits from the sidelines to the pitch, it gives you so much confidence as a player. Amen. We're really grateful we have him as our manager. Big him up for that. Then he said, we've got some great characters in the team who were pushing, driving on at halftime, and it wasn't a moment to let our heads drop. I actually feel second half, initially, we came out a bit sluggish, but we did what we needed to do. We knew in the second half it was going to be a tough game, but in the end, we gave it everything and we got 3 points, which was massive for us. These are the moments we live for in football, and I'm just so happy we can win the match. It was massive from start to end, and to get 3 points with that energy from the crowd was just unbelievable. Careful celebration, police might have something to say. Havertz said the supporters made us run, and Arteta got the reaction he wanted. He said they wants the fans, in the stadium to live every kick and touch and all these things, and he got that. And Arteta himself did that. Havertz, who good game from you, didn't get a goal or an assist. Bit fortunate that your effort led to Saka tapping it home. He might have looking at everything differently, but he did what you could, man. The small details made the difference today. Definitely our mentality, and obviously the supporters helping us. We needed them today. They showed us big relief and made us run. We are very happy about the 3 points. I mean, careful, people are very critical of the atmosphere at the Emirates. There's no secret to the win. 2 top teams on the pitch. The small details are very important. We scored 2 goals. Maybe they were a bit lucky, but their goal was lucky as well. We are very happy. You earn your luck in life. It was a big night for us. The supporters were brilliant. We are thankful to them. Don't think anyone disagrees. Jorginho, big performance from the experienced midfielder. Big performance. Chelsea must be missing you. Looking better than, what's that guy? I didn't know he won a World Cup, but Enzo Fernandez, and somebody told me Caicedo was bought for 100 million. I ain't seen 100 million stuff over there at Chelsea. I know Declan Rice is worth every penny, but yeah, Jorginho, Chelsea fans might be missing you. It was a special day. The supporters, they were behind us and we could feel it. And it was just an amazing, amazing football match and an amazing day for us. It was really hard work. If we didn't do that, we couldn't win for sure. We knew we had to push to the limit to beat them because they're a great team. And that's what we did. And I think we deserve to win. Then he said, people, they've been there for us for a long time. And all we need to try to do is to give it back, and we push ourselves to the limit. We try to make them happy the way they support us because they deserve it. And today everyone was happy. We should enjoy this moment as well. We need to think about the next one, but at the moment we need to enjoy this moment because that's how it is. I think you focus on the next one the day from tomorrow, which is true, really and truly. I mean, listen, Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher, half the things they probably say, they probably don't believe themselves. And to be honest, if you've got an issue with Arsenal celebrating and all this stuff, shove it, man. Like, I've got a video coming out later today where I've spoken about that. Me and different lot spoke about it. Shove it, man. I'm not gonna lie, I think Trossard has to start the remaining of the game on the left and Martinelli striker. That could be an option. I think Martinelli will find himself on the left. Ben White showed Diaz how to play right back. Klopp, madman, playing him there, literally cost the team the 3rd goal. Boy, here for it. Last year we won every London derby. This year we're attacking the big 6. I just want more consistency and some confidence in the players on the bench. But then it's a thing for Arteta. Then if you've assembled the bench and you don't trust for argument's sake, don't trust these players on the bench, get some players you do trust. Really, we need to talk about Ben White. In my opinion, him or Odegaard was man of the match. Odegaard, boss performance. Benjamin White, colossal performance. There's a couple. I think obviously it's a great team performance. Saka, Martinelli, Trossard, the poster boys with the goals. Man of the match. I think there's some candidates still. I would probably go between Benjamin White and Jorginho personally. I think Jorginho bossed it. I think Benjamin White, colossal performance. I wouldn't give him man of the match, but I think Kai Havertz had an effing good game as well. Minus the fortune that led to Saka bagging, and I think the wingers did all right, man. I think the manager got his decision spot on. Keep it moving, innit? Really and truly, like we did what was needed to do. Arteta himself said on self-belief that the performance will give the team. It was an extraordinary game. I think it was an incredible performance from the players and our people. The atmosphere that we generated in the stadium is the best I've seen this season. Let's make that the benchmark. We demanded that. We had to go to a different level and to connect it again to the demands that this league has in every game. And they have responded in an unbelievable way. I think the players left absolutely everything. They put their heart and soul into every ball, and I cannot be any prouder because I know how difficult it is to beat this team, how much you have to suffer, all the preparation and how much they have to process to try to do what they did on the pitch. So big thank you. On whether the win was an ugly or beautiful one, it was so ugly, it was beautiful. And it was so beautiful, it was ugly. I think it's in between. I think it's the most glamorous Arsenal have played football? No, I don't. And games like this, everyone needs to win their individual battles, whether Klopp was at it or not, or Liverpool, that's their business. But, we played greatly out from the back under a lot of pressure. We tried to play football where we could. Something that's been lacking generally this season or this last period is putting the ball in the back of the net. We just have to go back to the FA Cup game. We did all of that. So yeah, either way, it's 3 points, and this is a game. These kind of games against a team like Liverpool, it's just about getting the job done. It's nice to be here and talking about individuals, but it's about the collective. If the collective weren't amazing, the individuals weren't amazing, but the collective did the job, then we keep it moving. But I think for me anyway, Jorginho, Benjamin White, I'd give it to one of those. I think Declan Rice was quality. I think Kai Havertz really played well as a false nine. I think the wingers did what they did. I like Trossard's cameo. I think apart from, in my opinion, the mistake Saliba made, Saliba was good. Gabriel, quality. Zinni, in the minutes he played, did well. Raya, I think you're unfortunate not to keep a clean sheet, but you can't have it all. And even if we were to win this, I don't think anybody expected to keep a clean sheet against Liverpool, what we did. I do think we should, based on what I've seen in hindsight, I do think we should have kept 2 clean sheets in the last 2 games. I don't think we should have conceded against Liverpool or Nottingham Forest. At least Nottingham Forest scored their goal. We gave Liverpool's theirs, so... yeah, it was all trained. I told you I didn't know, but I knew how to train this. You have to. We conceded a really poor one. I'll slightly told you it's a lie there, isn't it? As well, that's the reality. That's really affected us. The dressing room was really touched at halftime. I could sense it because we deserved much better after the half we had, and we reacted really well. After the 10-15 minutes where we suffered, that's true. We grabbed the game, we controlled it, we modified a few things, and we gave ourselves a really good chance to win the game. Then he said, yes, it does, because winning helps. And obviously the schedule we had prior to Christmas, the amount of players that played so many minutes, we had injuries and we needed to recharge. And now we've got some momentum back. 3 wins in a row in a really convincing way. The team performed really well. We have to go for it. It's the whole season now ahead of us. We need some players back because right now we have a few injuries. That's a big concern that I have, availability of the squad. If we have everybody fit in training, we have a really good chance. I don't like ifs, and we've seen a couple of stories around injuries too many times, my guys. So it's a bit dead on whether we have the mentality to compete. I mean, Arteta, even if he didn't believe we had the mentality, he's not going to come and say it in the public. But absolutely, sorry, we have shown that today. The thing is that to be the best and have the best mentality, you have to do it every 3 days. That's the challenge that we have. Certainly, we showed that today, especially against, in my opinion, the most informed team in Europe. Now we have to do it tomorrow when we train the next day against West Ham and continue. When we have that body language, that attitude, and that energy in the team, we are really difficult to beat. I think Martinelli should have got man of the match. I mean, there's a few standouts there in a good team collective performance. I would personally give it to Martinelli, but he was quality. And you know, Martinelli against Liverpool, definitely at the Emirates, and Trent, it's cash money, really and truly. Should have played that Bradley youth that they've got, and fought so with Bradley, because just from looking on Liverpool Twitter, I think he actually lost his father a couple of days before the game. So fought so with his family. You never want to hear that. But, you know, you're bang on, you know, because you just mentioned Martinelli. He said, I think he looks again, really confident, really sharp. He was a real threat today, not only for the goal that he showed and how intuitive and cheeky and streetwise he was to do what he did. I would also say big up Bukayo Saka and Martinelli defensively, but as well Leao. I think Kai was unbelievable playing as a 9. It was a game that I thought he was going to fit in the same way. Georgie, you need big performances to beat these kind of teams. I think all of them are at their best. Unfortunately, we know Timber's a long-term absentee. Zinchenko's picked up a knock. Jesus had a knock going into this game. And yeah, man, we're in a bit of trouble in that regards. Arteta said, with Gabby, we expect it to be something about days. And with Alex, we don't know because he had some feeling in his calf again and we had to take him off. On the control and chaos that the team created in the game. Yes, control is not really a word that I like. I like dominance, not allowing any teams to breathe more than control. Which is true dominance. You know, if you control a situation, it doesn't mean you're necessarily on the front foot, really and truly. If someone's trying to fight you and you're dodging the bangs and the punches and stuff, you might be controlling it. You're not dominating it. Dominating it would be either you grab them, he or she, or if it's 2 boys or 2 women, and you deal with the situation. So I hear that. I mean, every manager would like dominance in it. You would love a team. You would love Raya to not be the lowest rated player or Ramsdale in goal every week, because you don't want your keeper to do anything. Unless it's just passing the ball out. So fair enough, man. I like that from Arteta. Not allowing any teams to breathe more than control, and especially which part of the pitch that happens in. That's true. You know, against United, on manner and them, man, we're having the ball, but it's in their half. They can have it there. If they're coming into the middle and our defensive third, that's where there's issues. That's the most important thing, in my opinion. But we can be very chaotic in open spaces. We create a lot of issues playing in different ways. That's another weapon that we have. on half time, he said, because the energy shifted in this game and you win 2 or 3 draws and you can feel that people are more confident and the crowd is going, you lose them and they start to run at you and you start to feel a bit scared. To manage that emotional state is really important, and we had to do it. Listen, you want to beat them, we're going to suffer, which is facts. There's going to be moments where we're going to have to deal with things that are going to make us really uncomfortable. I know we're not really used to it, but they're going to take you to that game, and then we're going to have to navigate through that to win it. Today, I think we made another step. Saka got a kick and he obviously came off. On whether the team is in a title race, I don't know. I don't look at the league table. I don't know what Arsenal are in, but he said we are there, that's for sure. We want to continue to be there. I think we've been really consistent the whole season. We're not where we are today, in brackets, without that. We go game by game. The availability of the squad is going to be crucial, and we have learned that from last season. So let's try to make that, I think it means, happen what happened. Now, that's the second time Mikel Arteta has said or alluded to injuries and availability. And you go back a few weeks ago, he said, when it gets to March, April kind of times, you need everybody fit. And he said, we've learned that from last season. Mikel Arteta, I think you're a very analytical man. I think you're a very smart man. I praise and critique fairly where I think I see such. But because I know you do nothing knee-jerk, I have an issue with that, because in the summer, I'm not being funny, you knew that there was going to, how many seasons have we seen these around certain players? We knew depth is an issue. We know Thomas Partey can't stay fit. And we knew that just learning on being in a title race last season, there's certain things that shouldn't be said this year. So it's kind of like, we've made our bed. We've got to lie in it really until next summer, where we can address and sign players for next season. So bit wary of that. Not really happy with that. Big up Jorginho. He said, it's a game that I had in my mind and imagined for him playing, and how much, in my opinion, we're going to need him. It's a team that doesn't really allow you to put the fifth player in that front line the way they play. Jorginho's a really intelligent player. His biggest quality is that he makes the people around him better. He connects everybody, and he was unbelievable. I think he was man of the match. Fair enough. But when last did I hear Arteta say that? And in the same way Arteta is there on the sidelines doing the most, the fans doing the most, Jorginho's a senior player. He's probably galvanizing the troops, ticking things over. Him and Odegaard are like Mikel Arteta's lieutenants, or an extension of the coaching staff on the pitch. So, and even Raya as well, really. So that makes sense, and he does connect people. He then said on Jorginho, unbelievable. I've always said that he's an example, a role model. He's been in a lot of pain as well, because he has an issue that he's been carrying for months. He didn't want to stop. He's been playing with that. He's been training as the first one in and the last one out. And for all the kids, for everybody at the club, you want to look in the mirror at someone, just look at him and how he behaves. He's won everything. And if you ask him not to play, or to play 1 minute like last week, he's happy to go there. You ask him to play 98 minutes at the Rhythm, and he's able to do that. So I'm really lucky to have players like that. Big up Jorginho. I don't think anyone can complain with that. We'll leave that there. What's this being said? Martin Odegaard's apparently hit back at the Jamie Carragher's and all these guys, people. He said we showed a bit of immaturity. How are you showing immaturity? We haven't come out and said we're going to win the league. We're here to stay. Liverpool and City, suck on that. We're here. Man, I'm just happy they've won a game of football. What? This is crazy. Anyways, people. Odegaard, our Capitano, and what a picture that was. I think everyone who loves the club, who understands football, they know how much it means to win this game. And if you're not allowed to celebrate when you win a game, when are you allowed to celebrate? We're happy with the win. We'll stay humble. We'll keep working hard, and we prepare for the next one. But you have to be happy when you win. All right. That's what more can you say there? But forget all the outside noise. On our photographer, who's the whole reason Odegaard's getting a lot of flack. He's such a big Arsenal fan, such a big heart for the club. He's been here so long. Yeah, I thought it was a nice moment for him to get a good memory as well. Facts, man. Why is everyone trying to kill? Well, sorry, I think this is what Ian Wright said. Why is everyone trying to kill the joy? Don't kill the joy. There's so much of the season to go. As soon as Arsenal do anything, they just come under a pylon. It's like we can't have any joy. It's like England at the World Cup or the Euros. As soon as England start doing well, everyone's jumping in. And then big up Ian Wright, because I think he's speaking facts, but we're not even going to waste too much time on that. Jamie Carragher has shown a bit of immaturity by crying about his team got slapped. He's saying it because his team lost. City fan, but always tuning in. Great channel, wonderful analysis. Big up from New York. Appreciate that. Massive praise, especially because you got nothing to do with the club. Appreciate that. I mean, we've gone over Martin Odegaard. Let's move that. Apparently, we've heard this for a while, and you'd imagine Benjamin White's the next in the line, but apparently Tomiyasu is set for a new contract after Bayern Munich interest. Allegedly, I do think Bayern Munich have an interest in him and an admiration, but I don't think they were trying to get him. We was trying to talk with him about signing a new deal, but yeah, it is what it is. As you know, Tomiyasu is set to sign a new long-term contract with Arsenal. The defender's current deal is due to expire in 2025, although it contains the option to extend it by a further 12 months. So it's nice to see we're being proactive, even though we had wiggle room. Apparently, we opened talks with Tomiyasu in November, and he's now ready to put pen to paper on fresh terms. He did have interest from Bayern Munich, and we have no willingness to sell him. And for me, you start against West Ham. Big up Zinchenko, but you know, and all of that. And shout out Kirill. Tomiyasu, fit, you're starting West Ham away. Left back immediately. Benjamin White, Saliba, Gabriel Raya, keep doing what the defender's been doing. Tomiyasu is in my opinion. Big up yourself, Manny and Clyde. Let's be real. Bayern have fallen off. They signed Eric Dyer, so them having interest in Tommy could be real. I do think it's legit interest, but I think everybody's interested in everyone. Whether they're willing to bid, put money down, I don't think it was quite like that. Carragher seems to forget Klopp making everyone hold hands like kids after drawing to West Brom. Selective memory, man. I asked you in a previous stream, but DG, who would you like to play left back against West Ham? Because Tommy's back and Kirill did well against Liverpool. I think Zinchenko with fit might go out there, but Tomiyasu, Kudus is probably going to play on the right-hand side, or, you know, there's going to be defensive transitions against Bowen and the Kudus and all these guys. So for me, Tomiyasu comes in that's just my opinion. As you lot know, I don't make the decisions, but for me, Tomiyasu would be playing left back in that game. Apparently, young Ethan is the highest paid scholar in Arsenal's history. His scholarship is set to end next month, and he's set to sign a pro deal until 2026. So you would imagine that's when he turns 17, and you'd imagine within that time we have to give him an improved deal, and hopefully he's integrated in some capacity into the first team. First, they said Saka wasn't entertaining. Then they said he's off form. Then they, you know, there's always some BS about Bukayo Saka. Say what you want about the guy. He's one of 3 Premier League players to have 10 plus goals and assists in all comps this season. Saka's got 11 goals, 10 assists. Darwin Núñez has 11 goals and 11 assists. And Ollie Watkins got 11 goals and 10 assists. Must admit, if Darwin Núñez could finish consistently, he'd be a madness if he's there. And Ollie Watkins has to be on the plane when you're talking about strikers, excluding Harry Kane and Southgate's thinking for England for the Euros. Again, complete domination when you look at this. You know, Liverpool had 57% of the ball, but we probably tried to play forward a lot more times. We mustered 15 shots against Liverpool. That's the most we've managed in a Premier League game against Liverpool since 2015, people. And I'm not one for the XG, but you can see quite the gulf in that as well, people. Romano's confirmed the Tomiyasu stuff as well. Decision wanted by both Board and Arteta, as there was never any chance of Tommy to leave in January. Tomiyasu leaves, we riot, people. We all know Thomas Partey injury concerns, and Arteta did speak about it. He did say it's a big concern because he's such an important player for us, and he was getting some momentum at the start of the season. Then we lost him for a while. Now it's been a long time without him, and he gives us something very different that no player can give us in the squad. He's been a real miss. Now, if we look over the comments that Arteta said in the press conference and what I said about Arteta being very analytical, I know we've signed Declan Rice, but I think it's quite criminal that we didn't address midfield properly in the summer. But you did bring in Kai Havertz and Rice, so maybe you did do that. They've been different kind of injuries. Not everything is about luck, but there are a lot of things that are very difficult to control as well. The player has a history where he had some issues in the past, but we have to try to protect him and do everything we can to avoid it. Ryan Taylor of the Sunday Mirror said Partey is expected to leave Arsenal at the end of the season after failing to shake off persistent injury problems. Arsenal have been linked with Benjamin Sesko and apparently AC Milan, and it's looking to be a fight in the summer. AC Milan are preparing to offer 40 million euros. Apparently, he has a release clause of around 50 million euros, as you can see here, people. And you'd imagine Arsenal internally have a lot of time for the guy. Ben Jacobs has suggested there could be a merry-go-round of sorts, people. What has he said here? Let's just skip to where it makes sense, because Rafa Leao's been linked with PSG to replace Mbappe. That's not really got any relevance to us. So we know that Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man United are all going to be in the mix, and there will be a crossover as they each look to get their top targets. I think Leao might be the byproduct in the summer of a kind of merry-go-round of movement, because it's clear from Premier League clubs that the primary targets appear to be Victor Osimhen and potentially even Ivan Toney. More so for Arsenal, I think with Chelsea, it's likely that Osimhen is there at the top for them, and Toney is a bit further down the list. Now, there has been some reports that Chelsea aren't prepared to give Osimhen the wage demands he wants, but I still think he goes over there. Not all 3 of those clubs can necessarily get their number 1 target either due to competition or cost. Then we have a wave of secondary strikers that could come into play because the money would be there to spend for those clubs, and I think Leao will fall into that category. I mean, Leao could probably be converted to a striker. He's probably played up front, but surely if you're buying Leao immediately, he's looking more comfortable on the left-hand side. Lokonga's been finding his feet of sorts at Luton, and, you know, he hasn't closed the door to wanting to make it at Arsenal, but apparently Arsenal have decided to sell Lokonga in the upcoming summer transfer window. Allegedly, sources have told Football Insider. The Gunners are prepared to part ways with the 24-year-old midfielder, regardless of his performances during the loan spell at Luton. So he's playing his way into the shop floor. And we were linked with Rashford on the 1st of this month. Sources say Lokonga has no future at Arsenal following his loan at Luton, with the North Londoners ready to look for suitors in the summer. Harsh, man. But yeah, well, he has failed to consistently impress, but he's made 10 appearances and it seems like he's over his injuries, and he's played 6 successive times in the league between December and January. So go put yourself in the shop window and prove Mikel Arteta wrong. The man himself said, I can have a future at Arsenal. We have covered that in a previous stream, so make sure you're checking out the rest of them. There's nothing there for us, people. Because it just looks so much cleaner when the tabs go in it. I know you lot are on to me, tab police. But yeah, let's eliminate a bit of these. Let's just make sure nothing Arsenal related misses us as well. Big up you lot. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe and like buttons if you haven't. Nobody really cares for what Jamie Carragher has to say. Nobody gives a flying monkeys. So we'll leave that at that. Jack Wilshere apparently is keen on the Aberdeen job. He's clearly trying to make inroads into the senior game. I don't know what happened to the Colorado Rapids things, but he ain't got that move, has he? So that's that. This article, once again, has spoke about Osimhen. Arsenal deal Chelsea Victor Osimhen transfer blow after identifying top midfield target. Chelsea had looked like clear front runners to sign Victor Osimhen this summer, but the Blues could now be joined by rivals Arsenal in the race for his signature. Arsenal will consider rivaling Chelsea for the signing of Napoli striker Victor Osimhen this summer. In his country, Nigeria, stand a good chance of maybe winning the AFCON. The Nigeria international is currently away with the Super Eagles, people. We know he's done an interview where he suggested that. He's been quite cryptic. He hasn't said he's moving, but he's kind of saying the club no. Skipping to the bulk of what matters, Chelsea are red-hot favourites for his signature, but will have to match his newly inserted release clause, which is understood to be worth 100 million and 110 million. Arsenal also interested, however, having previously met with Osimhen's reps back in 2022, though it must be stated there are other strikers on their radar, including Ivan Toney, as Mikel Arteta seeks to strengthen his forward line, something he was unable to do this winter due to FFP regulations. No decision has been made by Arsenal on their top summer striker target, but Chelsea are expected to go all out to land the 25-year-old African Player of the Year, even if it requires a massive financial package, both in terms of transfer fee and wages. We all know he recently in December signed a new deal until 2026, and the Napoli president came out and said he would join a big club. So we'll have to see. Apparently PSG and Real Madrid have been linked, but it looks like, well, PSG could move for him, but Mbappe, Real Madrid, you don't really need Osimhen. Meanwhile, Arsenal are facing stiff competition from both Barcelona and Bayern Munich for Real Sociedad midfielder Martin Zubiamendi, who is among the names at the top of their wish list. He primarily operates as a number 6, but much like Rice, he can play as a number 8. Partey is expected to leave at the end of the season after failing to shake off persistent injury problems. Apparently, Bayern Munich's chief Christopher Freud recently met Zubiamendi in Portugal in a bid to twist his arm, and all 3 interested clubs are poised to continue laying the groundwork for a potential summer deal in the coming months. There was interest in his services during last month's window, but Real Sociedad have already made it clear that the player will only leave should his release clause be triggered, and apparently he was determined to remain with Sociedad as they're competing for whatever they're competing for this season. Romano spoke about Jarell Hato of Ajax. He said, yes, it was impossible to sign him in January because of the rules. Hato from Ajax. Ajax want to extend his contract as soon as possible, and Arsenal tried to understand the situation around Hato. It's impossible to get the deal done in January, or it was, but Arsenal are following this boy closely. They believe he's a special talent. Arsenal signed players in recent years from Ajax. They wanted Lisandro Martinez. They signed Timber. They have a good connection, and they believe Hato could be a player of interest in the future. Fair enough. Apparently, according to Football Insider, Mikel Arteta has no plans to sell Ramsdale, and he's expected to stay for the foreseeable future. I don't know if Ramsdale's got other plans. Jorginho apparently is yet to hold talks with Arsenal over a new contract and insists he's just focusing on Arsenal at the moment. But we have an option to extend it by a further year, so that's probably why. And there's probably just bigger priorities. Benjamin White, Tomiyasu allegedly, and probably some other things. But big up Jorginho for the game against Liverpool. He said, I am trying to enjoy the moment, to be honest. We haven't spoke about it. My contract, I just want to win games with Arsenal. And he then said it would mean a lot to win the Premier League. That one is missing to tick off. We need to enjoy it. Well, I mean, I don't think we are, but I'd love to be wrong. We need to enjoy the moment and push really hard every single game. At the end, we'll see. We have a lot to do. We have to push a lot. We're on the right path. I mean, we believe we can play against any team. We can beat any team. That's the reality. But then to win the league, you can't lose points against the other team. So I think we need this maturity to try and not lose those points in other games. Facts. I don't think he's lying. It in brackets, the team psychology is getting more mature. We went to the change rooms, we spoke, we said what we need to say, and we didn't drop the energy. Fair enough. Pick up that really and truly. Once again, Zubiamendi's one of the players top on Arsenal's wish list. We've gone over this Aaron Ramsdale thing. Tomiyasu, we know that's agreed. Van Dijk took full responsibility for the mistake he made. Tomiyasu, I'm so excited to bring you Tomiyasu news in it. There's so many things with Tomiyasu, people. Arsenal ready to activate transfer plan B as Mbappe to Real Madrid causes collateral damage. What the hell does this mean, people? Apparently, Arteta had been plotting a potential summer move for Xavi Simons. It appears that PSG are eager to retain the Dutchman as Mbappe's replacement. Apparently, Football Transfers has exclusively revealed that Arsenal's manager still has a huge appreciation for Wolves' Pedro Neto, and his assist in the 4-2 win over Chelsea on Sunday will only have aided that. But the Emirates club are looking for someone to play through the middle. To that talk, Arsenal scouts are closely tracking RB Leipzig attacker Benjamin Sesko, according to Christian Flork. Benjamin Sesko came in the summer for 24 million euros to Leipzig. AC Milan are currently offering 40 million euros. Arsenal are watching the attacker. He has an exit clause of 50 million euros, and a contract until 2028. So if you believe that, there you've got with that. Romano has said that City, United, Chelsea, and Arsenal all interested in Elise. And in terms of Elise's teammate Eze is of interest to Manchester United and Manchester City. I mean, I'm of interest to both of them. I like both of them. Spurs have been linked with Rafinha on the basis of Barcelona might sell him, and we were linked with him. Do you not expect us to be linked with him again or to go for that again? I'm not too sure, but that appears to be everything that affects or includes Arsenal's transfer stuff. The summer's irrelevant. Simmons or Neto would be perfect. It would be, man. DG, have you heard from Marcel in the last 24 hours? Nope, but when he returns, we'll be there. I think Arsenal triggers Jorginho for an extra year. I think so. I think El Nene's gone. I think they'll, assuming there's offers for Partey, whose contract runs down and also has an option, I think they will try to get rid of Partey. I think there'll be investment in midfield, and I think Jorginho will just hang around, be a voice in the change room, experienced individual, probably get less minutes if we bring in what we need, but you get it. Shout out Queen of the South. Hope you enjoyed the win yesterday. Not sure about you, but City at Brentford is a tricky one. But hey, all the games are tough for everyone. Partey isn't important. We win without him. He needs to go. He's just playing in the injury room. To be fair, everybody's important. And the man himself, Mikel Arteta, said that really and truly. And I'm not saying you, but only a few weeks ago, everyone was saying we miss Partey. Declan Rice don't pass the ball forward. I mean, Partey gives us a lot. He's a quality player. Gives us another dimension. But if you're not available, it's irrelevant. And I like Thomas Partey. I'm a big fan of him. I don't know for the off the field stuff, which we don't condone. And if true, them and there, you know what needs to happen to them. But you're not available. What's the point? Essentially, I'm a big fan of Tomiyasu, but if Tomiyasu keeps picking up injuries, we need to do with this. Even slightly, Zinchenko, Smith Rowe, Reece Nelson, Partey, Tomiyasu. Again, some players are better than others, but if you keep picking up these injuries and injuries happen, we can't keep going, really and truly, can we? But I wouldn't say he's not. He's not. An important player. And to be fair, you look at the Liverpool game and definitely the City game, we won both of those games without necessarily many Arsenal fans' strongest 11. So it does show why you need a squad. Big up yourself, Trap Pack. What a name. Rice has been talking about how he learns from Jorginho, so keeping him might make him future coaching option. Probably, I mean, there's a lot for all the midfielders in Arsenal's team to learn from Jorginho, and Declan Rice is never going to be like Jorginho. He's obviously, I think Rice has a great technical level, but he's not what Jorginho does in midfield. You're never going to be like that. But if there's little hints and tips you can take with your body positioning, with the areas, you use when receiving a ball, with when to play certain passes, with a variety of passes, there's a lot you could learn in that regard. In the summer, we'll get Tony, Boniface, Onana, and Hakimi. I'd have to see it, man. Partey a quality player, but he's a liability with the injury. There you have it, man. There you have it. Unfortunately, he's a liability. You can't stay fit. It's irrelevant. I know that the striker and midfielder is the club's first targets. Where else does the club need to strengthen? For me, and I'm just a normal fan, I think you need a winger that can play on the left and the right. I think you need a striker. I think you need 2 central midfielders. And if you could get another Timber Tomiyasu kind of guy that can play across the back four, we're amazing. I put asterisk next to goalkeeper because you'd imagine Ramsdale moves on. I know we just saw a report that said Arteta has no plans to sell him, but you'd imagine this isn't going to persist next season. Or I don't know, man. Is what it is. We'll probably get FFP point deduction if we done all of that. But yeah, man, I'm sure there could be some creative accounting being done, man. But yeah, once again, Marcel, where are you? Let's send a search party out for Marcel, man, really and truly. But yeah, with that being said, I don't want to take up too much of your time, people. We've gone over the press conference. We've gone over the transfer news. We've obviously loved the fact that we've got 3 points yesterday. Hopefully, we can continue against West Ham and Burnley and all the other games we've got. Again, check out the live stream I did just before this with Alex and make sure you subscribe to The Different Knock. If you want to know my immediate Arsenal-Liverpool thoughts, then obviously it's been out for a few hours now. There's a post-game reaction. And I'm in the process of, getting a tactical analysis video kind of done. I'm going to watch the Arsenal-Liverpool game again, and we're going to try and see things. And, there'll be content, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch. As usual, I appreciate you lot tuned in. Hope Monday has started in the best vein for you lot, not just in terms of football, but in terms of life. I hope you and your loved ones are in great health. So, yeah, man, I'm going to let you lot get out of it. Like, comment, subscribe, drop a comment after. Road to 70,000 and 10K on Twitch is alive and kicking. In honor of Kirill getting some minutes, let's see a goal from a fullback.
Against this right back, Charlie.
There's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like. There's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like.